Hello people of YouTube, Srsly here, and today we're going to be going up to the Duke's Tier Freja and killing it. So without further ado, let's get going. Now, you do have an option of warping to the Shaded Woods, but just to show you the way back there, in case you're just ducking in and haven't been there, I'll go ahead and show you the path. What you want to do is you want to make your way over to the Petrified Lady. The enemies in the area shouldn't prove to be too big of a problem for you at this point.
Thank you.
But just in case. Remember, do not destroy that door. Kill this thing. Kill the thing opposite it. Doesn't matter if you destroy the door. He'll probably destroy it anyways. Open the giant gate. Head into this room. Close the door. So that way the enemies don't get in. And if they do, then they'll be all clumped up. See, already one of them down, the other two, already at half health. Alright, and that's all of them dead. There's an Estus flash shard to the right of the stairs, there's a bonfire already lit to the left, and then you keep going. There are two enemies here. That one's eating a Fated Soul, which only gives you 50, so you need not bother yourself. There's an item up there. It's a Pharaoh's Lockstone. Already accessed it, so again, not collecting it. Those guys have a humanity, or excuse me, not humanity, a human effigy, and it's a soul, which I believe gives you 4 or 8,000. There's a bonfire here you need to light. Take the right-hand path into the Shaded Woods, which has a bonfire. Remember, hit the giant trees to create a noise, which will attract the adjacent enemies. There's a chest right there, which has a Chloranthy Ring +1, which is a great item to have. Or excuse me, a great ring to have. The way up to it is just past the chest that I saw, so if you're interested in that, go and pick it up if you haven't. Light this bonfire, or rest at it like I did, if you haven't been through here. If you run on the right-hand side of this path, you can avoid the shade on the left-hand side. Already cleared out this area, or at least the important parts of it, so you need not concern yourself. Inside this second broken building is a set of stairs, which, when you climb, has 2 giant barrels at the top, with a undead soul just past it. If you still have the Silver Cat ring equipped, like I do, then you should replace it with the Ring of Blades, or a better ring in general. The 4 rings that you should pretty much always have equipped up until you get a better ring, which won't be for quite some time, thankfully, or I suppose in this case unthankfully, will be the Ring of Blades, the Ring of Binding, the second Dragon Crest ring, and the Chloranthy Ring +1. Hit her twice, and now you have to fight Scorpioness Najka, which, despite her appearance, is not the sister of Quelaag. Right. She just used one of her more annoying attacks, where her scorpion roars and then both of her tails slam into the ground. If it connects with you, then you'll be lifted up to the air. You'll be afflicted with toxic, and then you'll almost certainly die afterwards, because there's no cure to toxic. Not that I know of. There, she used it again. She has another few attacks at her disposal, like that one. so long as you aren't within immediate hitting range of her, then it's not a problem. She does that one, where she does a lunge and then a wide sweep. And she does another where she swings her right hand pincer, your left side, and then her left hand pincer, your right side, for lunging with her staff. Also, you can cut off her tails, but it takes a good deal of damage. And if you do manage to cut off one, then it's quite unlikely that you'll manage to cut off the other. Stand over here, if you have the health for it, or if you want to get the flying butterfly on that branch, which she just destroyed. Now, as soon as it's done, run away to heal, as it's likely she'll hit you with her tail attack. Not sure I managed to dodge that one. Also, don't make a point of fighting her tails, because they're considerably more threatening than her, and they are really not worth the effort. It's much easier to just attack her from the front. Right, then, oh, excuse me. It's not a lunge, it's a wide sweep. She also has 2 magic attacks. This one, where she summons 5 spirit bolts, which fire 2 and then 3 at a time. You can dodge these by standing behind that giant broad tree right there, or just simply by running in a direction which is not straight ahead. And then she does another one when you're at range, which will stay in the air for quite some time, and then will all 5 shots that she shoots at will home in on you. The attack is not really a threat, generally speaking, so long as you are directly up against the boss. So as soon as you see her casting it, by waving her giant, I guess it would be a catalyst, actually, in front of her, then you want to run right up against her. Basically, whenever you can see her casting a spell, you want to run right up against her, to either get a few hits in, or to be in the safe area. For example, right there, I'm completely immune. It's still going to fire itself at me, given, but... Alright. Anyways. So basically, get in close range when you're trying to play defensively or get a few hits in. Stay at a longer range when you're trying to bait out one of her tail attacks or one of her long range, or her long range spell, which is both of which are easily avoided and countered. And if she happens to do one of her dive attacks, then you want to run to that small stone platform that you saw me stand on, because she won't be able to target you there with her for when she resurfaces. Anyways, run past this elephant here. There's a body here with a few prism stones, which you won't ever need to use. Light the bonfire. Just past here are the doors of Pharos, and inside the doors of Pharos are a number of dwarves. Now, dwarves themselves aren't terribly interesting, but they have a chance on death to drop Titanite chunks, and you'll need 6 Titanite chunks to upgrade your sword, or your longsword, from +7 to +9 for a total of 3 upgrades. So if you are in desperate need, or if you want a little bit more firepower, what I would recommend is popping a rusted coin. You should have a few of them by this point. And going in there, because rusted coins increase the drop rate of enemies, so although rusted coins don't give you a terribly large amount of increased drops, every little bit helps. Additionally, here's the leveling order. I'll probably say it once per video. Vigor to 20, Strength to 16, Endurance to 20, Vitality to 27, Endurance to 30, Vigor to 30, Strength to 30, and so forth. Basically, once you get the initial upgrades, it really doesn't matter. So, just make sure to keep a note of that. Once I get into the higher levels, I'll stop saying it so much, because past then you basically have free reign. You can do whatever you want, because you've obtained the initial upgrades. And the initial upgrades, I'm not sure how or why I managed to equip my sword. The initial upgrades are the most important, because if you didn't know, in this game, leveling up it increases at a logarithmic rate, in that it starts out fast and then it slows down the further you go up. For example, if you manage to level yourself up to 20 endurance, then you may have, like, from a completely random number, like 100 endurance, even though you started out at, say, like, again, random number, like 20. And then once you level your endurance up to 50, then you might be at, like, I don't know, like 150 endurance. Even though you did put on an additional 30 levels, it gave you less than half. Well, it gave you exactly half of what you asked for. It gave you basically less for more. So, remember, this occurs at a logarithmic rate, and although 20 isn't necessarily necessary, it's just a number that I think rounds off nicely, and does give you a good deal of advantage over the curve. Also, I did completely ignore a Titanite lizard right there, because I don't think killing it is very easy to do. Also, if you can manage to run to the other side before this guy body blocks you, then you'll have free access to knock him off the edge, or just kill him like I did. Anyways, so at the very top of this is a fountain. Of course, it's filled with skulls. This is Dark Souls. It's not allowed to be happening. And then you can head through the rest of the bonfire and enter into the war camp. Head over onto the left-hand side, take all that guy's items, and then make your way up here to the small little land bridge, I guess. Or a little cliff-like area. Once you make your way over here to the well, you want to run onto the side of it. You won't be able to pick up that item, and additionally, don't try to roll onto it, as it'll be extremely difficult. Don't roll to it, as you don't have nearly enough momentum to make it to the well. But instead, what you want to do is straight up run to it, because it's the perfect distance where you'll land directly on the edge without being pushed off the side or dropping into the hole for additional damage. Speaking of holes to drop into. Right, so this chest right here is a mimic. It's the first mimic of the game, and the only mimic that I know of in the first part of the game leading up to Dranglite Castle. So if you've been paranoid up to this point, you can rest at ease. Or you can be at ease. It doesn't contain anything particularly special, but I think it's interesting to point out, so I went ahead and killed it. Return to the bonfire and rest at it to reset enemy positions. And then make your way over here along the side of the cliff, or this sheer drop-off. You see those giant bowling balls right there? Or boulders, I guess, if you're less interesting. Yeah, just try not to get hit by them, otherwise you'll be like that guy. Oh, actually don't come up here, my bad. You want to come over here, bait one of these guys into swinging, and then watch them all die. All but one, of course. Anyways, with these guys' bodies, they have a good chance of dropping either peasant attire, flame butterflies, Titanite shards, or torches, with torches being the most abundant. And only dropping from the enemies that had torches. Go figure. Up here, you want to kill all the enemies, because they will chase after you if you leave them alive. Or at least one of them will. Around here in the corner is a body with a soul on it. A large Titanite shard. You can't bait these enemies out one at a time, as baiting one out will bait all of them out. die in two-handed hits. What the hell is... Okay. Not sure what that was. Once you make your way to the doors, open your inventory, and use a flame butterfly to make your torch burn. Keep going through this room, nothing of interest. Light this torch as sort of a safety torch in case you somehow manage to die in this next room. Open this chest and immediately run past it. The red orb won't attack you or do any damage to your enemies, but it attracts the enemies, especially the spider that was directly above you. Also, when you have your torch out, enemies, well, spiders only, won't attack you, but instead they'll only run away. Alright, once here, prepare to fight the Wandering Magus. One of the more annoying fights in the game. Or, excuse me, Prowling Magus. Alright, as soon as the boss fight starts, there will be two what I think are priests, or deacons, or something. Maybe even bishops, who knows. On opposite sides of the Magus. What you want to do is run past them. Make your way to the bleachers, or not the bleachers, the pews. And kill the congregation members. Literally all the enemies except for the two priests, or bishops, or whatever. That make their way over to you. The pews will block most of the bishop's attacks, except they will not block the Magus's attacks. The Magus and his congregation members themselves aren't too dangerous on their own, but when paired with other guys, they can be. After you've managed to kill one of the bishops, then you have the choice of either killing the Magus himself or going for the second bishop. It's really up to you. Neither of them are all that terrifying when they are paired with anything. Also, you will have received a Titanite slab for the fight in addition to the Prowling... Wait, does he drop a soul? Guess not. The Prowling Magus is actually a common enemy later, but that's considerably later, so you need not concern yourself with it for the time being. So I suppose it makes sense that he wouldn't drop a boss soul. Same with his congregation. The enemies up here won't attack you. So, just run around and loot the place. You need not talk to the guy here, he's a partner, meaning that if you have aggroed any NPCs in the game by attacking them, accidentally or on purpose, then you can talk to him and ask for forgiveness, and the NPCs won't attack you anymore. Alright, down here. You want to light your torch, and then try to jump to the stairs on the opposite side of the bonfire. Head through here, the spiders that are in this room. There are 5 of them. 4 of them, actually. Won't give you a problem, and you can just knock this guy right off the edge. Or just kill him. That works too. Head into this room. After dropping down from the stone, not the lighter colored stone, it's too high up. Alright. Not sure exactly what these things are. I think they're just like sorcerers though. Or they're not necromancy. Well, actually, they might be necromancers. I'm not sure on that one. Anyways, light the bonfire. Open this door for quick access to this room from the outside. Take kill any spiders that get in your way, and keep going. Back up the ladder. Back out into the open area where you just were. Heal up to max, if needed, as this next jump will take off a good deal of your health. And you want to jump to this building. Inside the building is an Srsly shard. I recommend just either killing this guy or ignoring him, because he can be quite annoying. Yeah, he nearly killed me there, as you saw. In fact, I think I'm just gonna use a homeward bone. It's probably a better idea to just use a homeward bone and stay alive than have to come back here later. Seems using a homeward bone put out my torch, but that's not a problem. As soon as you rest or respawn for any reason, then you want to light your torch immediately, otherwise the spiders over here may drop down and attack you. It's quite unlikely, but nevertheless it's good to play it safe. Break that door in 3 hits, and it won't ever respawn. Or repair itself. Open that door. Get the Titanite junk in here. And come over here and kill the enemies in this area. So you have a much larger place to fight Bowman Guthrie. There he is. Now, Bowman Guthrie in himself is basically one big pushover. He dual wields 2 giant crossbow shields and goes down in a modest amount of attacks. Assuming he doesn't heal, of course. He has a very long cooldown in between attacks. And is more of a battle of patience than a battle to be feared. Alright. You can do what I'm about to do here. Be an idiot, I mean. Or you can just jump in. Sorry about that. I got distracted there. Anyways, on with the video. Open the giant spider doors. Again, you don't have to reopen these. Use a flame butterfly before you proceed into the church, because all those spiders up there will drop down to you, except for like 3 of them. Setting this torch is a good precaution, because then if you die, then you can just come in here and relight your torch, because it stays lit in between lives. Break the for the body, and then break these pots for the arrows that you'll actually probably use in the areas that lead to the DLC, assuming you're going that route. Nevertheless, poison arrows are a good thing to have, so it makes sense to have them. Kill all the spiders in here. There is a dark spirit in this room that I want to access. It's not mandatory, but it does have a chance to drop one of my favorite hats, and it is guarding an item, which I believe is a soul of a hero. Not entirely sure on that. Besides, these spiders are very weak. Now then, once all the spiders are dead, heal up, pull this lever, and prepare to fight a dark spirit. An enemy that you have, though not seen before, seen something very similar to. Also, a note on dark spirits. If they don't dodge roll out of the way when you're attacking them to avoid getting hit, then they are almost certainly dodge rolling into you, so that way they can pull off a roll attack. So basically, if you aren't attacking them and they do a roll, then you need to dodge roll out of the way or get prepared to intercept the attack. Now, before heading down, you want to open that gate and then kill the parasitized hollow inside. Go and relight your torch, head up this ladder, and prepare to make a series of drops. It's probably not a bad idea to equip your silver cat ring at this point, because if you miss a drop, then you will survive, albeit with likely very little HP. but it's a good margin of security. Alright, look down, drop, and then walk. Or just drop, doesn't really matter. And then enter the fog gate, which leads to the Duke's Tier of Freja, a giant two-headed spider. Alright, so the spider minions that Freja just spawned in, they won't attack you because of your torch, which is quite nice because they will respawn periodically if you do manage to kill them, which is quite a bit tougher since you have to worry about the giant two-headed spider boss who's trying to constantly kill you. Unfortunately, this means that you can't two-hand weapons, so the fight will take about 30 to 40% longer than it normally does. This isn't too bad, considering that you have a much less likely chance of dying. Right. So anyways, onto the boss itself. What it's using right now is its panic attack. It'll stab all of its legs into the ground and shoot poison in every direction. What you want to do is stand up right against this leg. This leg is where you'll be spending the majority of the fight when the boss isn't actively trying to, isn't completely vulnerable. Just use another one of its attacks. So to get a 4-leg stab, it only got 2-leg stabs off because I managed to sidestep it. It's doing a 3rd freak out in a row. I have no idea why. Anyways, after it does 4 of its leg stabs, 2 of which at a time, then it will shoot its head forward and shoot a bunch of poison, which you definitely want to avoid. What it's doing right now is its standard attack. One where it will put its mandibles, fangs, whatever you want to call them, off to the side in a large arch which is difficult to run around and will attempt to hit with its face. What it did right there is its string shot attack, where it will raise its head up into the air and then immediately shoot out a ball of silk upon reentrance. This is sort of a tackle, where it puts its body way back and then puts itself forward. It's very easy to predict and dodge, so you need not concern yourself with it too much. And it hasn't done it yet. There's an attack where it shoots out a stream of silk, which acts as a magic beam that attacks all of the area in front of it. Alright, 4 of its leg stabs right there. Anyways, the way to avoid that magic attack is to hide again behind its left leg, front left leg, or right leg, depending on which armor you're using. Basically, the trick to this fight, it's about to use a strength shot, yep. And it's dead. The trick to the fight is to hide behind its front left right leg when it's attacking, and after its attack, run up to its face and get off 2 attacks. And then, after you do said attacks, run back to the side of its front right or left leg. And then wait there until it does another 2 attacks, and then you just rinse and repeat over and over again. The fight itself can be quite annoying if you don't follow that strategy, so it's definitely a good idea to do that. Unless you're doing some sort of challenge mode, in which case, good luck. That boss can be really annoying. Anyways, after Duke's Tier Freja is dead, run into the next room. Oh shoot, I forgot. So caught up in my talking that I completely forgot what I was trying to do. What I was going to say, well, what I am going to say, what I was going to say off to the side for the moment, is that Killing the boss, the Freja, isn't actually what you need to obtain the Lord Soul. What you need to do is you need to run up to the dragon or the stone dragon, the dead dragon, that you saw in the cutscene, and absorb the giant red soul in front of it, which is actually the Great Soul. Now, why they did this, I have no idea. It's just a pain. And if you do warp out of the area, then you will have to come back here at some point in the game to retrieve the soul. It's not optional, unless you're taking the cheesy route, in which case you don't really need this guide at all. But you're also skipping about 2/3 of the game content. So it's really not worth it. Again, drop down on the right twice, walk off, or just roll off. Boss is dead, and there's the giant red soul. You'll be coming back to this exact same spot later, so remember where it is. That blue spot on the ground is where a crystal will erupt from, which you'll need in order to access something. I'm not going to spoil it. Just know it's important. Now then, after obtaining the Lord's Soul and going on to kill what is assumed to be the Duke for his Fragrant Branch of Yore, the Brightstone Key, and something else I forgot, then you should make your way back to Majula to
Proceed.
level up and give her your Estus Flash Shard, which you found earlier. Okay. There's only one Estus Flash Shard in the entirety of the Brightstone Cove and the areas leading up to it. And with that is your 10th Estus Flask upgrade, your 2nd Lord Soul, and the end of the video. Hopefully you enjoyed it. Make sure to check back in next time, where I'll be going through everything up to the old Iron King. And until then,